Hey everyone, and welcome to Nobodies Making Noise, a series that aims to celebrate independent music and share the musical journeys of independent artists through casual conversation. My guest this week is Andrea Tragesser, bassist extraordinaire from the Portland, Oregon trio High Glow, who have recently released their debut album, Unlikely Futures. Now, Andrea is also an old friend of mine with ties to 12 Days in June lore, which I'm absolutely sure is going to come up in this conversation. So let's dive in. Andrea, welcome to Nobody's Making Noise. How the hell are you?
Hello, Dave. I'm doing well. It's very nice to talk to you. One of my oldest friends. So
it's been a minute.
Do this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this as I was getting ready to prep, and I'm like, God, I don't think I've talked to you face to face in like 20 years.
Maybe
like,
more. Yeah.
It's
long time.
I mean, like, thank goodness for social media, I guess, to keep us all connected. But this is cool. I'm so glad I had a chance to do this, and I appreciate you taking the time. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Certainly, at least, we've got a new album to be talking about here. Yes. But you know how the show works, right? This is all about the journey, right? So we're gonna go back a little bit and then kind of like document exactly. And we're gonna document, kind of the steps of how we got there, and then of course we're gonna talk about High Glow and the new album, which is awesome. So I guess, like, in the most generic of questions, like, let's kind of go back to the beginning of your musical journey, because when I met you, you were already playing bass, at a young age. So I'm kind of curious why you chose the bass, and, who were the artists at the time that kind of inspired you to go that route?
Good question. The bass kind of chose me. I had access to my middle school boyfriend's bass guitar that his dad had given him, and he was trying to learn, and he wasn't really getting it, which, that's okay. And so when I would go over to his house and wait for him to get back from school, and I just started kind of playing around with it, and I learned how to play that Summertime Rolls song by Jane's Addiction. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, hey, look, check it out. Look what I learned how to do. And he was pissed. He was just like, how could you? And like, I didn't really mean to, but I have always loved music, and I was always singing and wanting to learn. I took piano lessons when I was really little, and I couldn't get the left hand to do it. But then, of course, as I became a teenager, I wanted to play guitar and be a rocker. So I actually learned how to play bass before guitar at all, which has made me a really weird guitarist. But I guess that means then that I have been playing bass off and on for 32 years.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to leave that up to you to
It's
say.
really crazy considering that I'm only 30, that I would have started pre-birth. But
exactly. I mean, so hell with some vitamins, that your mom was taking there.
Yes.
I mean, I think, a lot of us at that age when we started playing, we're kind of inspired by the same things, right? Like you were saying, like your goals are so kind of pie in the sky, but like realistically, like, did you kind of want to get into bands right away? Or were you just kind of content playing, in the privacy of your own home? I'm just kind of curious, like, when you started thinking about, kind of big picture goals.
I wanted to be in a band right away. Some of my first favorite kind of alternative, independent, whatever bands were Sonic Youth and the Pixies. And they're, to this day, I don't know if there's anybody cooler than either Kim Gordon or Kim Deal. So right away, I was like, the math was mathing in my head. Like, I'm a girl, I play the bass, I need to be in a band, like, as soon as possible. But I had no idea, like, really how or what that meant, or, you know, anything else. Then luckily, someone came along.
Yeah, which is the perfect segue into the next point I wanted to bring up. So I promised you there would probably be some lore because because you and I go back so far, and because we were in such a tight-knit community of musicians. I first met you, gosh, I want to say it was at a Heat Miser concert. I don't remember and I'm not going to age us, but I do remember specifically, I think it was a Heat Miser concert. But it wasn't until about a year later, I think, before the idea got floated to me, because I was in just dire need of a bass player. The bass player that we had just up and left. So like I wanted to keep going. Like in my mind, like I cannot quit now. So as I was kind of talking to our mutual friends, I honestly didn't even know you played bass. So the idea got floated to me because I'm sure you remember, I was very, very new to guitar. I was just kind of writing these really limp-wristed, jangly pop songs. So one of our mutual friends said, hey, Andrea plays bass, and she writes these little happy bass lines that would probably be perfect. So like we got together, and I remember like your happy bass lines were perfect for what we were doing at the time. So I have really fond memories about that time and like playing shows together. Do you have any highlights from that period of making music together?
Yes. Uncle Milt's. Why was it so fun?
Right?
Okay. I think it was the second time that we played at Uncle Milt's. It was like packed.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy how many people came out to these, So Uncle Milt's backstory is this weird old organ themed and Pink Panther themed pizza place. And you could rent out some of their back rooms for birthday parties or whatever. And was it you that started contacting them and just renting them out for shows, or was that like Jason Rivera? Or
I think there was like a combination of like Hit Lee and Jason, and it's like there are a couple of folks that just kept suggesting it and making it happen, and the next thing I know, we're just kind of there like multiple times.
It was awesome. I mean, and they never said anything as far as I can tell about like there being, why are there so many people here? Why does everybody here look scary? And, again, not to date ourselves, but it was not as accepted to be kind of different like that. So yeah, they didn't ever say anything. They were happy as long as people were getting pizzas and we weren't doing anything too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially just like this random, I'm assuming like a room they rented out for parties or something, just at the very, very back of the restaurant. So like you may have like heard us playing if you were on your way to the bathroom down like a long hallway, but otherwise we were just kind of like tucked in the very, very back. Nobody bothered us. But yeah, like they didn't care that like there were people taking donations at the door. They didn't care that we were like playing loud music and just bringing in people. And yeah, I mean, when I look back on my history of making music, packing a pizza parlor is got to be, insurmountable goal. Like accomplished it immediately.
It was so fun and so like innocent, and we didn't any of us have any expectations going into it. Owen actually still has a flyer from one of those. I'll have to find it and scan it and send it to you.
Yes, please.
That was such a good example though of like a DIY. Like we didn't have a club. We had no all ages venue in Vancouver but we had the Corral.
Yes, we had the Corral.
Weird kind of Christian, well, not kind of, totally like Christian rock. No good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the memory. When I think of my time playing in a band with you, that is what I picture.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. I'm so excited that some of the video footage has survived. I had so much fun about a year or two ago or whatever. I found that clip with you dunking on me, which was just awesome. And I'm like, this is like the best thing. This is why social media exists, to find your friends dunking on you 30 years in the past. But honestly, it was so much fun, and we really did a lot more than I realized sometimes when I think about, like, I think we were only together for maybe like a year or two, but like in that time, like we did a lot of cool stuff and got to play a lot of cool places. What I remember is toward the end of the band, and for those keeping track, our band was called Apathy's Last Kiss, which was not pretentious in any way at all. What I remember about the end, and you talked about this a little bit at the beginning of our call, was that you had kind of, I don't want to say shifting, but you certainly had taken up more of an interest in playing guitar, or it was becoming a bigger interest for you. And I remember like talking to you a lot about that. And even before like you kind of fully jumped in, I know you were still kind of experimenting a little bit. Was there kind of a particular inspiration to shifting focus to guitar, or you weren't getting like bored and burnt out, right? It was just like,
no. I was the #1 Elliott Smith fan of all time anywhere.
I am sure of that.
So, kind of seeing that and seeing that, like, there was a way to make music that was maybe a little more earnest, maybe not the right word, but that there was a way to be kind of emotional and quiet without being like soft rock or being a folk singer, or and I always wanted to sing, and singing and playing bass is very hard. It's so hard. So I just kind of saw like, oh, I could just maybe start just playing these little songs, just me, or in a band, but more like just me, really, and satisfy that. And plus it was new. So, I was 16. I figured I had reached the pinnacle of bass playing. There's nothing else for me to learn. And it also tied into my like natural hamminess and want of attention. Want to be up a little more in the front. So it wasn't a burnout thing. It just felt like kind of a natural progression for me. And then, I played in a band for a little bit and then just played solo after that for a few years. But there's always room for a bass player. Bass players are always in demand for some reason.
That's true.
Everybody wants to be a guitarist, it seems like.
I think that's why there's always a need for a bass player.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, something that I guess I didn't recognize at the time, because when you and I were playing together, it was like mid-90s, and like the industry just in general was kind of shifting at that point. I think like, we didn't have the same things back then. Like AOL was kind of like just becoming a thing. So we didn't really have like internet and like, we weren't clued into everything that was happening. But, kind of years later, looking back and seeing like just the massive impact, that Kurt Cobain's death had on alternative music, seeing how Britpop had really started to gain traction and then kind of slowly work its way over to the States. So like a lot of the bands that we had kind of grown up listening to, I say grown up, we were teenagers, but like they were kind of shifting sounds, trying to kind of like stay ahead of the curve. So, but I was so reluctant to kind of accept change, and I kept doing a lot of the same stuff, which led me to burnout, which is why, why I had the question for you. Because one of the things, I don't know if you even remember this, but I think it was right around 2001 I was trying to make some form of comeback, if you want to call it that. I had been away from music for a couple of years, but I'd still been kind of working on stuff quietly. And I got to a point where I had to make a record, like had to. Like I couldn't imagine going my life without ever making a record. So I started piecing one together, and I thought, I really want Andrea to sing on this. And so you and I got together, and it was like, I know we went back, I think we went to my house, and like I was playing you a demo because I was like, this is kind of what I'm envisioning having you sing on. And like you happen to have a demo on you of your music. And I hadn't heard you play since the band had broken up. So I remember like just being so enamored, like so completely captivated by your demo, because I'd never heard you sing, never heard you play guitar. And then you're playing this like no doubt like Elliott Smith inspired music that was just so fucking incredible. I'm like, okay, fuck my demo. Like let's talk more about yours. So that's kind of where you and I lost touch. And I know you just kind of alluded to sort of what you did afterward, but I would love it to, you know, kind of hear you talk about what kind of happened next. Like, you know, you mentioned a band for a little bit and then some solo work. So what was that all about?
Well, I was in a band just playing rhythm guitar and doing harmonies with Jennifer Augusta, who was another Vancouver heavy hitter.
Oh yeah.
And then that shifted to just her and I just playing as a duo, but we really never had like a name, or I don't know, but we were a good fit. I played a 12-string, she played a 6-string. I just did the harmonies, and we sounded great. As happens to me, I got kind of like, I want to be in control, you know? And at that point in my life, like I wasn't real good at like saying, you know, I need a little bit more. I just either disappear or explode and then disappear. But I'd always been in the back kind of doing my own thing. And then after I moved back from California was when I really started, because I played down there a couple times, just like open mic stuff. And then when I came back here, I just really put my all into it for a little while, and it was going really well. And I also was in a band called Trojan Hearse, which was kind of just for fun, but that was myself and Jason Rivera and Dave Johnson, Ryan Murphy, and Shane Holden. And I played just the rhythm guitar in that. But then, you know, that was like kind of a joke from the beginning. And also Jason, so driven, he always had his other things going on. So I just kept coming back to just me playing. And I would still, I mean, it's something that I still hope to revisit. I just stopped kind of for no good reason. And then I wasn't in a band for 15 years, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that maybe, you know, that was done. Like I went to school, I got a job with a federal agency that shall remain unnamed. Somehow became like an accountant, you know, it just seemed like it was in the past. And then I answered an ad and High Glow happened. So it's kind of all back on the table after a very long break.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've met so many people with similar paths where it's like, I was really active in my teens and 20s and then took a break. And then it's like reached a point where adult stuff has happened. And now it's like, okay, now's the time. Like now I want to get back to it.
Yeah.
I'm curious if any of that material that you mentioned, either with Jennifer or solo, did any of that survive? Do you still have any of that?
No.
Oh no.
I had a DAT recording.
Wow. Okay.
where that from a studio session that I don't know where it's at, but I mean, I know all the songs. Like I could, brush up and record it. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do eventually, if for nothing else than just for me to be able to say, hey, like I wrote some songs and, here they are. They're sad. I'm very sad. I was a sad little girl. And I'd like to write some new ones too. It's just adult stuff happening. And as much as I love that kind of music, I need to rock. Like I want to just play the heaviest, loudest stuff I can get away with, So if I could have both, that would be my ideal. I've always said, like, if I could start a band that was like equal parts Heart and Drive Like Jehu, that would be it for me. That would be perfect.
I feel like you could find people to do that. Like that sounds like something people would love to get involved with.
Well, let's do it. I mean, I should probably talk to Tyler about that. Maybe he would be into that. But High Glow is, as much as it's a mutual and a group project, I try to respect that it's his baby too, and he's great at it. So thank goodness for him.
All right,
I can't take myself seriously or talk to all these people or do all this networking. I suck at it, especially now that I don't drink. It's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
I guess I'll see ya.
I completely understand. So it's actually kind of brings us up to High Glow, as you mentioned, which is, your current project that you've been doing now for a good couple years.
Yeah, I want to say almost 3.
Yeah. So how did this all come together? Like, were these already, folks you knew, or?
Nope. Total randos. I've always kind of peeked around because especially for the last few years, and especially as the pandemic was wearing on and on and on. It's like, gosh, I need a third thing. Like, I can't just do work and home. And I always intended to play music again. And so he had an ad up. I want to say it was Craigslist. It might have been even Nextdoor. Like, he was really throwing out a wide net. Specifically where he was looking for a female bass player. And I don't know what his initial idea was. I know that what ended up happening was probably not in line with his initial idea because of me. So I answered and I went and met him, and he was just playing with a drummer, and they had recorded some stuff, just the two of them. And we just clicked immediately. We liked all the same stuff. We had kind of the same ideas in mind. And real quickly, it went from me just kind of dun, 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 to getting a little more intricate and having a little bit more artistic license to say well, let's try this, but I'll play a fifth, and, let's do this, and I'll noodle over here while you do this. And it really just organically became something better than I think any of us could have anticipated. Then we lost our drummer, which is kind of a theme with us, unfortunately. And I thought, oh, it's over, And then we ended up getting Daniel to come and play the drums, who he's too good. He's so good that he's actually out on tour right now, subbing for the drummer for Touche Amore, and they're on a world tour.
Wow.
Yeah. But we just gelled. It just made sense. So I've been really, really lucky, that I've met these people that I just got along with right away, and there wasn't any like weirdness, and it was totally just luck. And it's been great. I am so proud of our record. Like I've listened to it multiple times, like just as almost as a fan, like oh yeah, that's actually my band. That's pretty cool. All right.
Good feeling when you can do that, right? Rather than kind of listen to it and like hear every little thing that you hate and wish you'd done differently.
I felt that way until it got like mastered and they did whatever magic, and I was like, oh, okay, it sounds good now. I like it.
That's always my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, the vocals don't make me want to, cry anymore. So that's great. So one of the things about High Glow that I loved instantly was everybody gets asked the question, what does your band sound like, right? What kind of music do you make? Like we all get asked that question. We all hate it because there's never a good answer.
Yeah.
But you all have been throwing around the term sludge gaze, which I absolutely love. When I listen to your record, and I have multiple times because it's fantastic, but something that really jumps out at me is it does remind me of like kind of a traditional Portland sound. And I know that's ridiculous because Portland really has like a massive, kind of breadth of music, but there's kind of that classic sound, right? Like that era of growing up in La Luna and, kind of like remembering like what that experience was like. And that's the way your album kind of hit me. It was like, wow, this is exactly what I would have like expected to hear, going to La Luna. So for folks that have no idea what the hell that means, but folks that are like new to you, haven't heard you yet, hopefully you're interested in checking you out after seeing this. Are there any particular influences that come to mind, or any particular genres you feel like are a good match for your sound?
Yeah, I have a hard time with that because, like, I guess grunge has become an acceptable term in the last however many years, but to be clear, it's still not to me. I guess I would almost say kind of a post-punk, post-hardcore, but melodic. And if I had to think of bands that I would, if we were doing like a ideal dream show, I would say like a Jawbox-esque vibe.
That's definitely a good
one. Like I said, Drive Like Jehu. I hope that that's inspiring me some. And like, Nirvana, whatever, like they were a big deal and they were a good band. So there's definitely an influence there. A lot of that, I think all of us in the band are around the same age. So we all have that nostalgia for that 90s sound that, I mean, we're still talking about it today, right?
Right.
It was a big deal, and it kind of changed music forever. So I think we all are on the same page of wanting to kind of scratch that itch of music from that era that wasn't necessarily on MTV or on the radio. Like when you had to go and like look, or get a zine or go spend an hour at the record store and get recommendations. We kind of want to evoke that, but also in a way that maybe you haven't heard, like for me, whenever I'm writing a song or like, helping write a song, I always think like, what does the listener expect for us to do? And then let's not do that. Let's do something totally different, because I want people to come away and be like, wow, like I've never heard a song like that. Or this is so different from what I expected it to be, etc. So long answer to say, like, I guess I would put us in a post-punk, post-hardcore, not post-grunge, because that's like Creed. But there's a little punky, grungy, shoegaze we all are big fans of My Bloody Valentine, and Failure has been a really big influence on all of us too.
Yep.
So actually, the great, wonderful Gabe, what did he do? He didn't master it. He did the thing before mastering. God, Andrea,
You mixed it?
Mixed it. Thank you. He actually worked with Failure and was like Ken Andrews' assistant for a long time. So he knew we were really big fans of that band, and I think was able to even kind of make that sound a little more apparent.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a great time for us to actually play some music. So, as we do on this show, we like to take intermissions to pause for a nice little music break. I always ask whoever my guest is to pick the songs that we're going to listen to. So for the first break, you chose The Gamble from your new album. Why did you pick this song?
Well, it was our first single, and we didn't know that we were going to have it. Actually hadn't planned on it being our first single at all, but it turned out so good that we thought, you know what, let's do it. Let's get it out there. It's kind of my baby because it does start with the bass, and you know how I mentioned earlier, it's really hard to sing and play bass for me anyway. I have a pretty big vocal part in this song, and I'm just really proud of how it turned out. And I don't think it's like anything I've heard, and I hope other people like it. And yeah, it's a good song.
Awesome. It is a good song. So with that, here is The Gamble from High Glow. Andrea, let's talk a little bit about the Portland music scene, because again, like you and I grew up in it, essentially. So we've seen so many amazing bands and artists come and go over the years. But I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I'm a little out of touch these days because I moved away some years ago. But there are some folks that like have kind of still, managed to hit my radar. I really like bands like Animal Ghosts and Iron Sheep. Lance Huff is really good. And of course, we've got friends in Gaytheist who've also been doing this as long as we have.
Yep.
But how healthy would you say the scene is today? What's the vibe like compared to what it was like when we were playing in the 90s?
Right now, it is the best I think it's been since probably that time.
Awesome.
There's so much happening. There's such a good community. And there's still a lot of the same players from, Sean Krogan is playing in the Mistons all the time. Gaytheist, like you said, they're out and about. I chatted with Jillian Hanner the other day, was at our show. I wanted to freak out, but I kept it all under one roof. And that's really cool to me that there is this kind of mixture of older people, younger people, people who are from here, people who just moved here. Everybody's just playing music, and we have a new all ages place that's opening up. The old Dancing Bear.
Oh, wow.
Is going to be an all ages venue. Like, what? It's going to be so cool. We still don't have anywhere that takes like that La Luna spot,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's so many venues, and I mean, you can go out on a Saturday night and probably see 4, 5, 6 different bands that are so different from one another. Or you can go to something like Volume Bomb, which we are playing this year on Hawthorne, where they have, I think, 4 venues, 40 bands, 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah. We don't have anything like, well, remember we used to have North by Northwest, and then it turned into something else stupid. So people are just doing it themselves. Like, there's not, any producers or groups like Monkey. They're kind of focused on bigger touring bands. Locally, we're just kind of doing it, like figuring it out as we go. And it's fun. And there's so many good bands. I'm trying to think of some people I want to give shout outs to. Baby Grendel, we've played with. They're awesome. Grimace is really good. And they're doing something totally different from anybody else. We're actually are on a compilation album for this. It's called Bleeding Roses Records, and it's just this one guy who is starting a record company because he has a studio in his basement, and he had all these people come and record, and I think that's going to be out at the end of the month. It's called Tell Your Friends Volume 1.
Nice.
We're playing a thing called Femme Fatale Fest that's a weekend long at the Twilight, which is still around, that benefits Rosehaven, which is a nonprofit that helps homeless women specifically. It's crazy. Like, there's so much still happening. And I never would have thought that, at my advanced age,
30.
Yeah, exactly, that I would still be able to be part of such a full of energy and exciting thing. And I don't know if this is happening in other cities. I think Portland is I'd like to think it's kind of special for the music thing, but I can't say that for sure. But everybody that has moved here, as much as it annoys me that so many people have moved here, most of them want to play good music. So they get a pass.
It should be the requirement. Like,
Yeah,
if you're going to move there.
What's your favorite band? Okay. Do you play an instrument? You're just a lead singer? Get out.
I mean, that's awesome to hear that the music scene is thriving, right? Like,
Yeah.
again, like you said, and of course, like I'm going to be biased because it is what I grew up in. So the Portland music scene has always felt special to me, and I think about La Luna more today than a normal person should. I did a whole album that was like my tribute to La Luna, so like, yeah, it definitely left a mark on me. But thinking about like what's available now, and you mentioned like so many awesome opportunities to play out, and certainly High Glow seems to be pretty active like in the music scene. Did you start out that way, or did that all kind of happen after you put out your first EP, Peel Sessions?
So that EP I was not involved in.
Oh, okay.
And that was just Tyler and Keith. But Tyler is so motivated. I've known few people in my life as motivated and as driven as him, and he is just on it. I mean, he's in touch with everybody. So when we first started playing, I think it was maybe 6 months before we played an actual show. We played at Turn. Or no, we played at No Fun. And after those couple shows, like we started to get to know people in other bands, and then they would be like, hey, you want to blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, let's do this. And it, like I said about the community, where just going out to shows and getting to know these people, then they're going to call you, and then you call them, and before you know it, we're playing like every weekend. So it was pretty gradual and natural. But I can't give enough credit to Tyler for just doing the work. Like, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. But he's a machine, man. So yeah, it didn't start out quite that way, but it's gained a lot of momentum, especially since we recorded the album and kind of getting ready for it to come out. And now that it's out, it's a lot.
So when you first met everybody and were kind of at the early stages of working, with these folks in this band, like what were like the initial, I'd say like the initial targets? Like what did you want to accomplish? Was this always like, hey, this is something fun to do because I want to get out and play some music again? Or were you thinking like, man, it'd be really killer to make records? Like how far did you want to take it?
We never really talked about it. But I suspect that Tyler and I both want to go all the way. Like at first I was like, yeah, fun. We'll just, play out on the weekends. And it's become like I've had less realistic goals as time has gone on, to where now I'm like, I want to put out another record. I want to go on a tour, at the very least of the West Coast, preferably the whole country. Then what? I don't know, world tour? Sure. Why not? Like, the sky's the limit. I'm open to whatever people like from us, whatever, we're getting back from the audience. I'm open to it. And I think Tyler is too. He is about to have a baby. I'm very excited for him. I'm terrified, but I'm also excited. So we'll probably have to take a bit of a break for a little while, but yeah, we're both open to the sky is the limit.
Well, before we get to world domination, let's talk a little bit about most recent events. So this May, so not even that long ago, just put out the first High Glow full album, Unlikely Futures. It's available everywhere, right? So I don't know about you, but again, like thinking about the old days of like what it took to record, to get something out, to get it into the hands of anyone, you're talking like tens of people if you're lucky. And now you can be on, like Bandcamp and reach everybody. You can be on streaming services and reach people everywhere. So how does that feel? Like, thinking about where you've been and where you're at now, to have your music available everywhere.
It's crazy. I mean, I think a lot of like it hasn't all the way sunk in, you know.
Mhm.
But I've noticed, like on our Spotify, people in Australia have listened to us, and I'm like, oh well, that must be so and so that I used to work with, blah, 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 that moved to. No, it's just random. Like it just happens. But I think it's a good thing. We've tried to do the promotion of the album kind of both ways. Like we did, you know, put everything up on streaming and Spotify and Bandcamp, but we also, all of us went into different record stores and we're like, hey, here's, you know, 5 of our records. Call us when and if you sell one, like multiple record stores. So we did it a little bit of, you know, this kind of futuristic way and then the old school way too. But I can't believe how many people have bought it. And I think that is because of the access online. As much as I like to bag on the internet, it's been a really cool thing for music in some ways. We can get into the ways, but just the fact that you can just record something and just put it online, like the people record themselves on YouTube, like, God, I don't know what would have happened to me if YouTube would have been a thing when we were teenagers.
Yeah. I'm happy that like all we had access to was 4-track recorders back in those days.
yes. No video, thank God.
So I'm curious about the kind of the recording of the album. I like to get into kind of the nerdy details. So you recorded the album at the Hallowed Hall studio.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the old Arleta Library.
That's correct.
That's awesome. That is a
really
beautiful
cool
building. Really love that building. What was the experience like recording there? Because I imagine this had to have been your first time in a studio in probably like quite some time, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was my first time recording with a full band playing bass in a studio, and I thought like, oh, this will be easy. I'll just go in. It was so much work. It was great. Justin Phelps is who produced our record, and he's great. He was really he really pushed us to, you know, not just say like, oh, it sounds good enough, you know, to really have a product that we were happy with. And because we got pushed and, you know, didn't just settle, it took a long time. But now I can look back and see like, oh, well, that's why it took so long, because we wanted to get every little thing right. Recording the bass, we did it through a DI, which I have mixed feelings on DI just across the board. I love the way an amp just sounds, but for recording, I mean, it came out really good. Vocals are a nightmare, man. Recording vocals sucks.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we had a producer that really pushed us, and because of that, the end product is something I'm really proud of. But yeah, I would recommend Justin Hallowed Halls. It was excellent, beautiful. Like I was excited to go there, if you know, for no other reason, just to be in this beautiful space with every kind of musical instrument and amplifier and random thing you can imagine. It was great.
That's really cool. So looking back on this experience and recording this album, and you know, obviously you mentioned kind of the good times and bad times that come with recording in a studio. Yeah. Is there any kind of major takeaways that you have where you're like, hey, if we go back and do this again, like here are like the top things I'm absolutely doing differently next time?
My biggest thing is if there's a way to record some stuff prior to going to the studio, that's what I'm going to want to do forever. I mean, even if it's just, you know, like you have one mic or something, just so that you have another frame of reference that you can hear some of the issues that might come up and be a bigger problem when you're in the studio and you're paying, you know?
Yeah.
So the best setup that you can possibly make for yourself prior to going into the studio, I highly, highly recommend it. then listen to it together and just see, because you're in the moment when you're actually playing, and you're not thinking like, oh, like I can really hear the fret buzz on this, or like, oh, I'm coming up a little bit flat on my vocal. Like, when you're able to step away and listen to a recording, it's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
make sure you eat and drink enough water, because you're going to be hanging out for hours wishing we're not there.
It takes a while. Yeah, my favorite part is always when the producer has to isolate the vocal track with nothing else. Oh my God. Just shoot me.
And then you're like, oh, I thought that sounded pretty good. And then it clicks in your ear. Let's do that again.
Yeah, I've been there, as you can imagine. So we've covered a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, like, really excited, really happy for you. Like I said, you, as one of my oldest friends, like, I am so stoked that you're still making music, that you're making really cool music. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Consider me a fan. So
give me your address and I'll send you a little care package with a shirt and some stickers and stuff.
I'll take you up on that.
Okay, excellent.
So thinking about, some of the stuff you talked about as far as like kind of upcoming question marks in as far as like the roadmap to continue your goes, what do you kind of see next for High Glow? Like, certainly you have shows coming up. Are you already writing new material and thinking about kind of next albums?
Yeah, we're already writing. We're probably going to put out like a single or maybe just an EP in the not too distant future. We are going to be on the PDX Pop Now compilation, which is very exciting. What else? I think we're going to try to get into Tree Fort next spring. So I think that's kind of the natural next step, is we're going to try to get in on some of these kind of more indie festivals, less like Coachella, more like Sasquatch. I don't know if that is a thing anymore. I don't know. Definitely going to try and book a West Coast tour at the very least. We have a show coming up in Olympia in August, and then a show in Eugene in August. So we're trying to spread out a little bit. And yeah, just like I said, Tyler's about to have a baby. So we are going to kind of maybe pump the brakes for a minute. I know that his wife would really like for him to chill out. So that should happen.
Yeah.
But I think by next summer, we'll be back at it and figuring out what's next.
Awesome. And maybe if you have some of this extended downtime, there might be some Andrea solo stuff happening.
I would love to do that. I'm playing the guitar as much as I can in my downtime to just keep nimble and just see what happens.
Very cool. Well, we're kind of winding down here, getting toward the end of our time. Again, can't thank you enough for carving out some time to chat with me.
Yeah.
Before we go, we do have a second music break. For this one, you've chosen the song Hourglass, also from the new album. So tell us a little bit about why you chose this one.
This song was the first song that we kind of wrote together that really I felt like I was a little more involved in the writing process of it. And I, like I said earlier, like I want to make music that doesn't sound necessarily like anything else, while also sounding like all these other things that we really like, but just it's a little bit unexpected. And I think Hourglass is a song that you can't really put in a box like that. Like it's different. It's interesting. It's fun to play. And yeah, it's just a really good pop song.
It sounds like a song that you had fun. You had fun with when, and I'm listening to it. And it's a great opening track for the album too. Like really sets the tone. So with that, here is Hourglass by High Glow from their new album, Unlikely Futures. Andrea, thank you again so much. Enjoyed this opportunity to chat with you. I'm sorry it's taken us so long to finally catch up, but I'm glad we had High Glow to talk about, and
Yes.
you know, people should be singing the praises of the new album because it is fantastic.
Good stuff. Yes. Go to SoundCloud, Bandcamp, High Glow. We're everywhere.
And also be sure to check the description on this video because I will have all the pertinent links where you can find High Glow and Andrea if you so choose. Andrea, before we head out, do you have any kind of final words, thank yous, plugs, anything you need to do? I know you've got a show coming up.
I have 2 shows coming up real soon. First one is July 17th. So that's a Thursday, unfortunately. But July 17th at Lollipop Shop, we are playing with Tiny Jackets, who are another great local band. Then July 19th, we're going to take it out to Astoria and play with our good friends, Gaytheist, as Jason and I have birthdays the same week. So we're going to get crazy. So yeah, come on out. And Dave, it was so good to see you. I want you to come visit and all that stuff. I can't believe you live in New York, but
I know. Next time I'm in the area for sure, I'm gonna ping you because we at a minimum need to catch up and have some coffee or something. This has been awesome. I don't have a really cool way to exit out of these things, so this is just the part in the interview where we awkwardly fade to black. But thank you again, Andrea. You are amazing, and let's not wait 20 years to do this again.
Let's not. Thank you, Dave. You rule. Thank you for turning me into a bass player.